What's going on, everybody? Hey, today we got a little bit of a long stream, maybe. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the Brook wireless fight board mount that I designed for the Panzer Fight Stick. We're going to change it up a little bit so that you can mount the PS5 upgrade board on it, and it will sit underneath the universal fight board in your Panzer Fight Stick pretty easily. I'm sure that when I upload these drawings, you can modify them and adapt them to do whatever you want with them and work with other fight sticks, but that's up to you. So let's go ahead and get this thing going. And as always, feel free to say anything you want in the chat. We're going to have a good conversation today too, because I've got some things to talk about related to the new He-Man and Masters of the Universe Revelations cartoon on Netflix. I will not get into any spoilers, I hope. No guarantees, though, so if you're interested in watching it and you don't want to know about that, well, I'm sorry. You may want to tune out, which seems like a weird thing to say. But I started watching it today, and so far I like it. I'm only 2 episodes in, so I can't get too many spoilers out. And I like how they've kind of changed direction of the cartoon a little bit and started bringing some of the other characters to the forefront. And if you're interested in it, you should go check it out because it's good. Now, I will tell you, IMDb has made some, has let some people, review it and put some stars up, and it's got really shit reviews. But I think it's got really bad reviews because people are idiots. That's all I can say. And by people are idiots, I mean they're just like, oh, this Storio's not anything like the original, and why did they have to empower the women in the show, and blah, blah. I'm like, whatever, dude. There's no place for some of that toxic masculinity in the world right now, and I think they're doing some of the side characters from the early show justice, so it's pretty good. Okay, so back to this. Let's get started here. We've got this PS5 upgrade board. What it's going to do, if this is like over here on the screen, you can see this is like the front of the where the Brook UFB will be. So we can take this little notch out. We can take this little section here of the sunk in part out because we don't need that. We can also take out these little side cutouts because we're not going to need that. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to position this so this board fits towards the back here, and we're going to make it so that the hole holds the PCB here, and then the wires will come off and then plug into the UFB up on top. So let's go ahead and do some prep work first and go from there. All right, so we're going to take this. We're going to just right-click and delete that and say yes, because I want that gone. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Delete this one. Yep. Now we got rid of both of those little notches. Let's see. These are the extrusions here. Let's see. Which one's this? All right. Let's take this and let's delete that. Nope, wait. Don't want to do that. Let's take it and modify it so that it goes all the way to the top of the top here. So let's hit OK, and we're not quite there yet, but what we can do is look at this and we can figure out exactly how high we made this one. We're going to go to edit. It's a 4mm extrusion, so that's good. And we'll take this and we'll just go here. We'll make that 4mm as well. Hit OK, and voila, just like that. Now this whole thing here is a solid plane, which is what we want. We're going to take these 2 sketches here. We're going to delete these because these were just something you drew on the face so that I could make those little cutouts on the side. All right, so now we're almost there. Let's see. Let's take this guy here. Let's edit this sketch. I want to get rid of this part here, right? So if I click this, I can delete it. I can click this and delete that. I can exit sketch. We'll ignore that. All right, hit close. Then what I can do is this one here, it's going to fail to extrude. So I'll take this and we're going to delete that. We don't care about that. Boom. All right, cool. And then these little fillets, these can go away because they are referencing something that doesn't exist anymore. And just like that, now we have the most basic of shapes to mount the UFB to. Great. So now we're kind of agnostic to which is the front because I've made this so that it is 100% symmetrical, which is great. And if you're just joining me, welcome. We're designing a universal fight board / PS5 upgrade board, kind of conjoined mounting thing that you can 3D print or mill out of aluminum or whatever you want. These will be available on my Buy Me a Coffee page at the end of the stream. And then obviously if you want, you can support me by going down to the lower left where it says Buy Me a Coffee, and you can go there and buy me a coffee. There you go. Or join my member page and get access to a lot of this stuff for free. Okay, so let's see here. I talked to Brook the other day, and they said there are no parts soldered to the bottom of this PS5 upgrade board. So here, let me bring this back on screen here. So everything you see here is on the top. The only thing that's going to peek through the bottom are the holes here for the connectors, and the hole here for the connectors, and obviously this hole goes all the way through the board. So the first thing that we're going to do is, let's get over here. I'm just going to click on this, and then go to my sketch. I'm going to hit sketch, and I'm going to click there again because that's where I want to sketch. And then let's go ahead and reorient ourselves like this so that we're looking at something top down, because that's what we want. And then I'm going to click this guy here. Actually, I'm going to choose my center point rectangle, and then I'm going to just find the center here and then draw it out like this. Oh, that's not the center. That's okay. We're going to draw it something like this just so we have it. And then what we'll do is we're take this guy here, and we know that this is going to be 21 millimeters. That's just the outline of the PCB. This one here is going to be 19.5 millimeters. Boom. So we've got that, which is great. Now that is the size of the PS5 upgrade board. We haven't done any of the fillets or anything like that. We're just doing basic geometry right now. Next thing we're going to want to do is let's click this line. We're going to do a construction line. We're going to click on this corner, and we're going to go straight over to the edge like that and click it. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. Do another construction line and click this and go here. All right. Now, if we click this line and we click that line and we make them an equal, that now centered this entire shape into the middle, and that's exactly what we want. So now we have this whole thing set up pretty well. You see here we got our 21. Why won't it let me select this one? Oh, there we go. And we got our 19.5. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to put our hole in the board here, because that's going to be where the screw that we're going to use mounts this in. Whoops, I think I may have accidentally created a relationship there, so let's just click that. Okay, we know that this is a 3.3 millimeter diameter hole. So if we click that, look at that, I got pretty close again. I always like when that happens. Okay. Now we are going to set our dimensions from the edge of the PCB. We know from down here it is 2.5 mil. So let's click this and click that, and then just type this in, 2.5. And then we know from this edge to this edge, according to the drawing, it is 3. So we go ahead and type that in, and voila. Now we have the cutouts for our PCB such that excuse me, not our cutouts, our general design for our PCB, such that the board will sit on here fine, and laid out properly in the center of our PC, our mount here. What we can do is, do we really want this set back that far? I don't know. Let's click on our smart dimension here, and let's go ahead and set this to be like, yeah, 10's probably okay. Let's leave it at just 10. All right. That'll keep the connectors and stuff hidden from the main view, and it kind of set back a little bit, so that's kind of nice. Now what we're going to want to do is we can't leave it just like this, because if we did, what'll happen is the pins will, from the connectors, they'll sit and they'll touch this bottom plate. That's bad design practice. I don't want that to happen. Since we want this board to be supported and we're just going to use the screw to kind of hold it in place, what we'll actually do is I'm going to draw a rectangle that kind of goes like this, here to here, like so. And we're going to use that to cut out and kind of let our pins sit into this. And we'll do another one like here. That'll be for the 2-pin. And that should be everything we need. Okay, let's see. So we know, basically, if we come over here and look at this, I'm trying to get this on the screen while I do this, so you can see why I'm doing what. Damn it, doing what I'm doing. No, damn. There we go. We know the center of this connector is 3.3 millimeters from the edge, and we know that these are 2 millimeters apart. So we're going to say that if the center is 3.3, that means this first pin is 2.3. So if we go to 1.3 millimeters from the edge, that'll give us plenty of room on either side. So let's go ahead and click this, and I'm going to go from here to here and make that 1.3. Boom. All right. Then if I go back over here, we know this is 13.7, so that's 14.7, 15.7, 17, wait, hold on, 13, 14, 16, 18.7, 21 minus 18.7, use my trusty TI-83, 21 minus 18.7. That gives me 2.3. So I'm going to make it 1.3 on the other edge too, just to make it a nice even cutout, which is good. Then we also know that these pins are 6 mil from the top. So if we want to have 1 millimeter gap here, let's just click this, and we're going to go 5. Boom. Whoops. Before we do that, let's go ahead and set this dimension. I want this, whoops. I'm going to set this to be 1 millimeter. That should be plenty. And then I can now come here to here. I can make, it's already set up. Let's take this. Whoops. We're going to set this to be 5. Let's delete that. We'll just do it again. And that pushes those pins so they're 5 millimeters from this edge. Remember, that's the imaginary board edge. So if we look back at our drawing, if we know that this is 6, and we know the top of this is 5 plus 1, that's 6. Oh, actually, we need to make this 5.5. We're going to make that 5.5 so that it's centered on those pins. That makes a heck of a lot more sense. 5.5. All right, hit OK. And let's rebuild it like that. Perfect. All right, let's go back in here and edit. So now if we go 5.5, half will be 6, another half will be 6.5, and then we know that the pins are centered at 6, so that should be plenty. If we really wanted to make this a little bit bigger, we could just make this like 2 millimeters, and that would be fine too. Let's go ahead and do that, because if we're going to 3D print this, we might as well just save some material. All right. Make that 2 millimeters. Cool. And then let's be smart about this. Let's take, let's take this guy. We'll delete that measurement, and we'll actually set it so that the center of that cutout to here is 6 millimeters, because we know that's the middle of where the pins are on that board, right? 6. So now we have a millimeter on either side, so the pins will never interfere with our little mount plate guy. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with this one over here. We know we want this. Oops. Let's go ahead and just right off the bat make this 2 mil like that, and then right off the bat, let's find the center, come over here like this, and then we need to make that 6.3. Boom. And then this is going to be, let's make the center 9.242 on the vertical direction. Like that. And then we know that this is 2.54, so let's make it 3.54. That'll give us a little bit of room on either side. Or 4.54, just like that, right? Because we add 1 millimeter to either side, and that'll give us plenty of room for our pins to sit and not interfere with anything. Now what we can do, let's go ahead and exit out of our smart dimensions, click this fillet tool here. We're going to go just like, 2 is probably too much. Let's just do 1 millimeter fillets, and then we can go through here like this. Nope, that's going to be too much. All right, 0.5 millimeter fillets. We want to try and have some nice rounded edges. Yeah, that's okay. All right, and we're going to do that over here too. That's just telling us that the geometry may be weird because of the midpoint, and it's fine. We're doing equal fillets everywhere. Okay, so now our pins have a nice place to sit, so the PCB can sit flush on this whole thing when it's done. Next thing I want to do is let me open up Chrome. I want to find a little a 440 nut and get the dimensions of it so that we can build that in, and the nut can be held in place by our 3D print. So we're going to go to albanycountyfasteners.com. I love this website. It's where I get a lot of hardware. Super cheap. Well, not super cheap. Very affordable, and a huge selection of all sorts of good stuff. Now, you could do nylon inserts, or you could just do regular nuts. I'm just going to choose a standard machine nut. And then, all right, so number 4, the flats are 1/4 inch, which means they're 1/4 of an inch flat to flat. So what we'll do is we're going to come back over here, and we're going to find our hexagon tool, or polygon tool, right? 6. And then we know that if we come here, go like this, right? We're going to worry about this on the, oh, actually, you know what? We'll do this. We'll do it on the bottom. Let's exit the sketch. All right, so we've got that. Now what we can do is let's look, whoops. Let's get back to isometric view. All right, now if we come here, we can look at the bottom. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to now sketch here, and then I'm going to go to my poly, and then I'm going to find my center of that hole. I'm going to zoom in like this. I'm going to draw this guy out like so, and I'm going to smart dimension from here to here, whoops, like this, and I know that is 0.25 inches. So now when this is actually, what we'll do is we'll cut it into the material, and that will allow us to take our nut and press it into place. 0.25 is probably pretty tight, which is going to be okay. We want it to kind of hold in place. You could always make that a little bit bigger if you want a little bit more slop. It's up to you, but I'm going to keep mine nice and tight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look, and I know that it's 3/32 of an inch thick. So what I'll do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to go in my features, I'm going to extrude cut it, and let me get to a place where it makes sense, and I'm going to go 3/32 inches, boom, like that, and I'm going to hit OK. And now what you'll see, it's kind of hard to tell, you'll see that's kind of embedded into the piece now. It's a little difficult to see, and that's okay. Now let's go ahead and go back to isometric view like this. Now we're going to go back to this sketch, and I want to do some extruded cuts here too. But I don't want to do every part. I want to do just select parts. So let's see here. Let me go extruded cut, and I don't want to do this whole thing. Selected contours, let's delete that. And we're going to go, we want this one to go all the way through, this one to go all the way through, and this one to go all the way through. And we want it to go, we can do 5 millimeters, it's fine. and then hit OK. We know our piece is only 4mm, so that's whatever. Hit OK. And it should have cut all the way through. Let's see. Just like that, you can see through to the bottom. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. What we could also do is do this little plane cut, and you can see that you can kind of go through and move your design so that you can see where everything is. And then if we do that, hit OK, and then we go to the side view here, you can see our screw comes down, and that's where our nut will reside. So just like that, now we have a place where the board sits, the nut holds it in place, the pins aren't going to do anything, and it's that easy. It's very simple, right? So I'm pretty happy with that. Let's turn that off. And just like that, now you have a safe way to put your PS5 upgrade board on, 3D print this, or get it milled out of aluminum or something like that, and you'll be good to go. And then if we check the bottom here like this, you can see that's where the nut hole goes and gets held into place. Now, when you 3D print this, the bridging over the top of this initially is going to be weird, so you might want to print this with some supports, but no big deal there. Use some long 440 screws to go through your UFB, through this, and then into the Panzer itself. You'll be good to go. If this doesn't get exactly flush, that's okay, because remember, the Universal Fight Board and the Panzer is elevated a little bit. So you're not gonna worry about it too much, and that's a terrible rendering of it. So there you go. So we got that done. Let me go ahead and get this exported, and then we will move on to the next stream. So I'm gonna go offline for a few minutes, and then we'll come back.